Hello everybody and welcome aboard Plazma 1945, coming to you from a mission. Now this mission is executed by the Raiders squadron with the participation of the Red Star squad as well. Now Red Star team is going to be flying on the red side. The Raiders team is flying on the blue side, and as you can see, this is a fairly complex mission. The goal is for the blue team to cross the Persian Gulf and to take out a number of targets. The Red Force is limited in their aircraft, and we're going to go through them real quick here. We've got Saffron from Red Star starting up his F4. There he is right there. And we'll turn some sounds on as we check out his startup. There's another set of aircraft taking off all the way to the north. There's got a couple of F-14Bs with a Mavericks, Rattler, and Nomad as well. Now, there is a catch to all these missions, and the catch is that there are limits to what kind of weapons the Iranians have and what they can use, because that's who we're flying for. For example, the F-14s have a very limited number of missiles. So if we look at the total number of available missiles over at the airbase here, I think there's only 8 total missiles that are the AIM-54 Phoenix, which was realistic for the time. Now, at the same time, the Raiders are also taking off on the Blue Force. That's their main group, and they are bringing a lot of Hornets. Now, yours truly, Plazma, has flown this mission, so I will be commenting on myself. But the purpose of this is just to show you guys what's going to happen, and there's their Awacs taxing out. Now, I played this from the red side, flying a MiG-29, but I did not see everything that the blue team was doing. Now, there's additional resources that they've got. They've got these B-1B bombers that they can launch to take out their targets. They've got a couple of AWACSs. They've got carriers. They've got refuelers. Whereas the red team is, well, MiG-29s, F-4s, and F-14s. If you guys are enjoying these types of missions and are interested in participating in more of them, there's going to be a link to the Raider Squadron and the Red Star Discords. And what I need you guys to do is to join the Discord or to leave a comment in this video that you are interested in these missions, because I'm thinking of hosting more of these along with Kaz, the creator of this mission, and getting a much bigger involvement from the community of DCS pilots. So let's quickly press F2 here a few times and see what kind of aircraft we're dealing with. So here are the B-1Bs. These are, of course, supporting the Blue Force. We've got a taxiing E3 for the Blues. Another E3 in the air, as well as yet another E3 that is flying around most aggressively. Actually, no, hang on. This is a refueler. What am I talking about here? It's early morning. More refuelers, and more refuelers. All right, now we're looking at the actual piloted planes. These are the F-16s. Looks like they're setting up for a seed mission, because they do have to carve their way through a whole bunch of air defenses. And we've got targeting pods, harm missiles on Shadow's plane here. Got some Hornets. Let's zoom in and see what they've got here. The Hornets are coming in for air-to-air suppression. AIM-120s. These look like the Charlie variants. And AIM-9Xs on the wingtips. Same thing here. And on the other side of the map, here is Saffron blinking his light as he has a couple of Sparrows and 4 AIM-9s on his Iranian F4. Mavericks getting his airplane started up. I'm seeing Sparrows under his belly. So remember, Sparrows are short-range missiles that have to be guided all the way to the target. We've got Ivan starting up on the road base. These are the most advanced aircraft that the Iranians will have, and these are the MiG-29s with the R-77 missiles. These are short range, but they are fire and forget Fox 3s. Also, on the blue side here, we've got a Harrier, and Emu is in a Harrier here. Now, he has a Sidewinder on one wing, and he's got some unguided rockets there. And on the other wing, now what looks like a Sidewinder is actually a sidearm missile. This is a Sidewinder that's modified to take out radars. It has a radar homing seeker, which will actually go and try to take out a radar. He's also got some Maverick and some JDAMs. So he is going to go hunt some SAMs. Moving right along. Another Hornet set up for air-to-air. Here's Kaz. Kaz was not flying. Pardon me. Kaz was the GCI for the Red Force. And we're looking at his beautiful Phantom here as he's sitting. And here's Raiders Chakai. Going for a lot of fuel tanks. So remember, the MiG-29 has fairly short range. So lots of fuel tanks and 4 R-77 missiles. Here's Nomad from Red Star. He's got a Sparrow. He's got 2 Sparrows, 2 Sidewinders, and 2 of the really old school AIM-54 missiles. And back to the blue side as planes are getting ready. Another aircraft set up to hunt radars. This is Raiders Viper. And Raiders Falcon. He's bringing harm missiles that are designed to take out radars. On the other side of the map, there goes Saffron taxiing out. And he's going to be driving past yours truly and Squid. So we've got Squid in the black MiG-29, and Plazma is in the Splinter Camo MiG-29. Now for my weapon loadout, I've got 2 R-77s, 127 ER, 127 ET, for a total of 6 missiles and 1 fuel tank. Squid. Let's take a look. He's got the same setup, so he's got a long-range Fox 2 missile, which is the 27 ET. On the other side, he's got a 27 ER, which is a Fox 1 missile. A couple of R-77s and a couple of short-range R-73s. Alright, and we still have these other Tomcats. And this is Rattler. And he is not at the back of the map. He's actually sitting at Abu Musa. And this is an Iranian airbase that is going to cause a lot of trouble here. Now what I'll be doing is I'll be cutting in the comms from the actual mission so you guys can hear what's really going on. So Rattler's sitting at this airbase here, and the strategy was for him to find and destroy the Blue Force Awacs. But his weapons are very limited here. So the rest of the Blue Force is mustering, and they're going to come out of Al Dafra, head north, all the way up the Arabian Peninsula, probably stage over at Kasab, while the rest of us are taxiing out for takeoff. So let's take a look here. What do we have going on here? Squid is back taxiing. Saffron's going for takeoff. All right, and there's Saffron in the air. So he is the first aircraft that is airborne, other than the maintenance aircraft. Oh, also we've got a takeoff from the MiG-29s from Chakai and from Ivan. They're staying low, out of the way of the Blue Force Awacs. They're trying to stay hidden. They're very smoky aircraft. Now there's a set of targets. These targets are all over the map, and they can be taken out. For example, these scuds that are right here. These are valid targets that can be destroyed. There's additional command and control facilities. And there are SAMs. Now, a set number of bombs need to hit different bases, such as Giraffe and Kerman. And we're going to zoom out. So up here and down here, but there are SAM sites, and there's plenty of targets everywhere. The other awesome thing about this mission is that Kaz has set up the ability to remotely control some of the features. So turning off SAMs, turning on radars, that sort of thing all work out. Let's take a look here. We've got Nomad on the runway. Gonna watch the Tomcats take off. So 2 Tomcats in the back, a couple of MiG-29s to the east, couple of MiG-29s to the west, an extra F4, and let's watch this joint takeoff of Nomad and Mavericks. And they're off. Mavericks and Nomad are going airborne. All right, nice clean takeoff. Nomad is the only one bringing the Phoenixes. Mavericks, by the looks of it, he is bringing just Sparrows. All right, we wish them farewell as they head off to their station. Saffron is heading south. And the MiG-29s down here are climbing for altitude. That's absolutely beautiful. So everybody's pre-positioning. Now, let's take a look at the Blue Force. They're doing their takeoff right now. There's Ghost in the F-18. 2 aircraft are up. Everybody's loaded up for air-to-air. The Hornets are configured for an air-to-air loadout and configuration here. Right, good work here. We've got nav lights off on the lead. And looks like the wingmen are also turning off their nav lights, which is really important. Otherwise, you stick out like a sore thumb. All right, the 18s are in the air. Let's take a look at the 16s. Lining up for takeoff. The 16s are the air-to-ground package with SAM suppression. Shadows rolling. And going for takeoff. And the Raiders F-16s are choosing to take off one by one. Don't want to mess up here. We got a limited number of lives, so do a good job. And there we go. The last Viper is up in the air. Now, this mission was actually designed for many more pilots, but we've got Rattler already airborne, and he is on his way carrying a Phoenix missile. Now, has he fired a Phoenix missile already? I don't believe so. I think he's only got one missile. Where is he going? I see Awacs, and I see Rattler on his way in. He's carrying a single AIM 54 Phoenix missile, and he is cutting in front of the entire Blue Force that has just taken off. The Blue Force is to the south, but Rattler has scrambled. The Blue Force is over 60 kilometers away. Gonna keep an eye on Rattler, see what he's gonna do here, as he has violated the airspace, and he is he's gonna cause some trouble. He's heading over into Dubai. If this was the real world, he should be getting launched on by SAMs, but he is sneaking through, flying right over Dubai, climbing for altitude, and burning as hard as he can. All right, well, Rattler's on his way. The F-18s are detaching to take him out, but he is high and fast and very dangerous. Looks like Pirate has picked him up and heading for an intercept. But Rattler is moving. Rattler has a mission. He's got to take out the enemy Awacs. A sneaky takeoff. Very high risk, but also high reward if he can get the Awacs taken out. And there goes the Phoenix. Missile's heading straight into space off of Rattler. And Rattler is turning away. Pirate is coming in to intercept him. So is Ghost. But that missile is burning hard. Its target, the blue Awacs. Now, on the Blue Force, everybody has 1 life. On the Red Force, everybody had 2 lives for this mission. But the AI aircraft, such as Awacs, do not have multiple lives, which is not a good thing. Now, let's see if this missile will hit the target. Missile speed is almost 2,000 kilometers an hour at a very high altitude as it comes down here. And I can see the Awacs. There it is in front of the missile. The Phoenix has gone active. It sees the Awacs. The pilots inside have realized they're in big trouble, as this giant telephone pole is heading straight for it. And there's a splash. The Awacs is down. now Rattler is running as fast as he can. He has splashed his target. The Awacs is going down, and he has to get away from the blue force that is chasing him. All right, so he is running away. Meanwhile, we've got Saffron, who has repositioned to the south, coming in for a nice clean landing in his F4 at Bandar Abbas Airport. Ivan and Chakai. Beautiful high altitude patrol here. They're not sure where the enemies are going to go. They're covering the west side of the Gulf. Great looking formation. I should take a lot of screenshots here because things look great. Meanwhile, the Blue Force has lost their AWACS. Looks like Rattler is doing whatever he can to unload his aircraft and stay as fast as possible as he's extending towards the nearest airbase, which is Bandar Ejask. Pirate here is trying to chase him. Rattler's running, and the rest of the aircraft are continuing their path towards Kasab. All right, back to the Red Force. We've got a patrol flight of Mavericks and Nomad. Airborne, high at 43,000. In light burner, but not going too fast. Only doing about 200 knots at that altitude. Squid, Plazma, flying through the clouds. Squid is in lead. Plazma is close by. Also setting up our patrol. Here is the layout of the map. Rattler continuing to Bandar Ejask. Hopefully you guys can see the cursor now. We've got Bandar Ejask over here. Rattler's heading for it. Pirates over here, and the rest of the Blue Force is continuing down the middle of the island. Now, what we've got here is we've got a Harrier that is flying low right above the water. Heading in. This is Emu. And he is in this beautiful Harrier. Flying just mere feet above the water. This definitely deserves a couple of print screens here. As he is heading in. Now, Kaz, who's working as the GCI for the Red Force, has picked him up. And I am detaching and peeling out to go for an intercept. The rest of the Blue Force is moving up along the center of the map. All right, let's go quad speed and fast forward through this flight. Now remember, guys, this is a replay of the mission that I was participating in, so I know what I'm going to do, but I haven't seen what the blue team did. So we're going to look at that here. But I am cognizant of your time, and there are some big ranges to cover here. Now, Emu is pushing in for the Iranian soil on his nose, and Plazma, yours truly, is detaching to go intercept him. Blue team has regrouped, and they're heading for Kasab for a landing. Nomad Mavericks continue to stay up high, and the MiG-29s here with Ivan and who was it? Ivan and Chikai. They're staying up high on their patrol because we didn't know which way the blue force would be coming. Let's take a look at Rattler here as he's coming in for a landing. He has achieved his goal. He has successfully taken out one of the long-range Awacs that the blue team was counting on for superiority. But valiant flight. And he comes back alive, bringing back this airframe. And the first splash of the entire mission here. As you can see, he has dumped all of his missiles. Really, the only missiles he needed were those Phoenixes. But after taking out the enemy Awacs, he just came in for a straight landing over at the nearest Iranian airbase. Alright, great job, Rattler. And let's hop back to the strategic map here. Blue Force is regrouped at altitude. We've got Ghost and Pirate who have set up an orbit. The F-16s are heading in as well. They've got their anti-radar setups. They've got missiles and bombs to harm miss on the left wing, and we've got those JDAMs on the right wing. And Parks is back here as well, providing additional air cover. And they've got a lot of missiles on those planes. Emu. Emu has crossed the mountains and he's heading in. His job is to take out the SAMs. Now, he doesn't have hard missiles, but he can sneak up really close to mobile SAMs such as ZSUs or SA-8s and take them out with his missiles that he's got on his aircraft. That's the purpose of the Harrier. Sneak in, pop up, take out the targets. And the rest of the blue team, meanwhile, is using this time to reform up. Just a big regroup before the push. Raiders Viper way in the back. You can see his F-18s up there marking as the F-16s are staying low and just coming in to do their job. Alright, let's take a look at what Rattler's up to. Rattler's refueling, rearming. He probably landed on fumes. And I've gone right down to the deck. The mission report said that there could be F-22s in the airspace. So I'm trying to stay low and hunt for a potential F-22. I had no idea it was Emu in his Harrier. I thought it might be a Harrier, but you never know. The F-22 radar cross-section would have made it very difficult. So this leaves Squid above Bandra, Bass, and Havadria. He is flying in hyperspace at 40,000 feet. Nomad and Mavericks are slightly more inland. They are 50 miles from the coast. And Ivan and Chikai are about 144 miles away. Now, the way Emu's flying, the only time he shows up on the radars is if he crosses mountains. Just like it's happening right here. He comes up over this mountaintop just for a few moments. He's going to show up on the radar. And as soon as he shows up on the radar, I get an update from Kaz, the GCI, the ground controller, and I know where to go to look for him. Now down to 35 nautical miles. All right, meanwhile, the Blue Force has regrouped and they are heading in. F-16s in front, F-18s right behind, with Ghost really taking his time in his F-18 way at the back. Let's take a look at him again. So the F-18s are supposed to take out the air defenders, and the F-16s are doing the air-to-ground suppression of air defenses. Big blob of them coming in. All right, Squid is detaching for a long-range shot and going fast. Squid is at 40,000, so around 12 kilometers in altitude. A perfect place for a MiG-29, but he does not have very much fuel, so he needs to get there, take a shot, and then get out. So Squid is on his way in. 1v5. The Tomcats are starting their turn in as well, building up speed. And meanwhile, Plazma, yours truly, is heading out here looking for this low-flying aircraft. Looking for Emu, who decides to use terrain for cover. Here comes Squid. He is now 23 nautical miles away. Fires an R-27. This is a Fox 1 missile. It's a radar-guided missile. It has to be guided all the way to its target by the host aircraft. And there we go. We can see one of the F-18s actually defending and diving. The missile is still guiding and has quite a bit of speed, doing almost 3,000 kilometers an hour. It was a long-range shot to break up their formation and to push away the Blue Force. Squid still has lock on the target. As you can see, the missile is still tracking it. But as the enemy airplane maneuvers, it's losing more and more speed. And there we go. The enemy aircraft has broken lock, and Falcon has made it through. Plazma has fired an R-27 that has gone stupid, and Emu has dropped lock by taking cover behind these mountains. So desperately searching for Emu, but he is so low and so sneaky, I have no idea where he is. All right, harm missile in the air. This one's heading for a SAM site. We'll catch up to it in just a second here. Squid is extending. He's got an AIM-120 on his tail. I had a brief update that there was a hostile aircraft somewhere near me, but I just can't find Emu. Emu goes for a very smart move. He's going around the mountain as I'm on the other side. Across the circle from him. I have no idea he's there. He's coming around for a shot as I am extending away. I don't know what his target was. I don't know where he was going, but now he's on my 6. The SA-5 is firing missiles back at the invading Blue Force. Extremely long-range missiles. Squid's continuing to extend. And Nomad and Mavericks are both coming in hot. They're now engaged. SAM missiles being fired by the Yustoshimi at the aircraft. So air defense is doing their very best. Squid aggressively turns in and starts looking for additional targets. Parks has detached, and he is heading in to support Emu. And Squid is coming in 1v5. Looks like an AIM-120 launch. It's a long-range shot. Hopefully it's not on a friendly. And Nomad has fired 2 Phoenixes off. Both of his Phoenixes are in the air. Now, the AIM-120 was fired on Mavericks. Shadow launches a GPU JDAM, and he is extending, and Phoenixes are tracking both Falcon and Shadow. Squid fires an R-77, very dangerous missile, on an F-16. And here comes a couple of AIM-54s. Here's the first one. There's a splash. Nomad takes out one of the F-16s. Squid is flying right by. He has no idea that there is an enemy aircraft right on his wing. Super close. Running away from an AIM-54. And this Phoenix missile is chasing that little F-16. But the F-16 makes it out alive. And unfortunately, Mavericks, Nomad's wingman, has lost to an AIM-120 by the looks of it. Nomad still airborne, multiple missiles in the air. Squid is running cold. And we've got a JDAM falling out of the sky onto a SAM site. Let's check out the precision of these missiles, or bombs. It hits pretty close to a radar. Back on the other side. I've spotted Emu. He's crossing in front of me. As my fuel starts running low, Parks is coming in to help him out. He's looking for me. And Emu is hoping that I can get to him before he can be in trouble. Fox 1 launch on Emu. Beautiful flare pop. Missile goes for the flares. Emu is still extending. Turning in for a shot. There's no escaping a MiG-29. Fox 3 R-77 launch. Emu's popping flares and gets taken out by an R-77. Nomad is doing an aggressive defense. Squid is coming in. SA-5s are pushing away the Blue Air Force, who are in trouble and are trying to regroup. There's Parks in a Hornet. He is in trouble. And there goes the R-77 tracking. Parks is trying to defend. Goes into the vertical and gets splashed as well. The initial attack of the Blue Force has been repaired. And Squid's R-27 scores another hit on an enemy aircraft. Harm missiles are attempting to hit targets, but the new Tsushima has short-range defenses which are taking out the harms before they can take out the radars. Pirate has decided that it's time to pull back. He's RTB Viper. Same thing, repelled and RTBing. And Shadow is doing his very best. Drops another JDAM against the enemy SAM site. Does a very nice loft. This JDAM is going to go up and then try to come down hard on the SA5 site that is out here. The two MiG-29s from the Red Force Chikai and Ivan have landed successfully. And they're rearming and refueling over on Lavon. Pirate is RTB, Viper's RTB, Shadow's RTB. SA5s are still launching. These are extremely long-range missiles. Hopefully it's not trying to kill a JDAM. No, they're definitely not trying to kill a JDAM. They're just randomly burning through. And trying to chase down Shadow, who is staying real low as he's extending away. In reality, this type of an attack would be very heavily repelled by the Iranian forces, but the US Air Force would probably bring a 3-to-1 ratio for this type of an assault. Right now it was a 1-to-1. Don't forget about Rattler, who landed at Bandar Jask and has taken off with his gear down. He was very excited to participate. He's got Phoenix missiles that he was able to pick up at Bandar Jask, and he is flying over to regroup. Alright, I'm flying on fumes and coming around for a landing here. I need more missiles, I need more gas, but still alive with 2 R-77s. A little bit of a teardrop approach. Gear down, cut the throttle. And let's get a nice little camera here as I come in for that landing. Nice and gentle touchdown and a safe landing. Squid, same thing. He knows how to put a MiG-29 down on the deck. Looks like Squid and I had the most of work. Great splash by the initial Tomcat. Had blinded the enemy Blue Force Awacs. Nice touchdown by Squid. And a roll through the runway. Alright, meanwhile, the second life of the Tomcats. They are 186 nautical miles away. That's 350 kilometers. Mavericks has just taken off. He's got a couple of Phoenixes on right now. And he's on his way. Nomad. Taxiing out. There's no more Phoenixes at this airbase. So he is down to Sparrows only. As he makes his way for the runway. And he had a splash with an AIM-54. Pirate successfully RTB'd back and landed. Over at the Kasab Air Base. Viper's patrolling. Shadow is clearly showing off. Flying 14 feet above the water. All right, so the aircraft loss was 3 and 3. Rattler has engaged and he is coming in from the other side, firing very angry sparrows, trying to intercept the Blue Force as they attempted to land. Now Rattler is flying with his gear down, which is probably preventing him from going fast despite being an afterburner. This is not how you want to fly your Tomcat. Oh, Rattler. You were so impressive in the first flight. What are you doing? Alright, head-to-head versus Viper. Viper pops an AIM-120 at 23 nautical miles. Very dangerous missile. Especially fired on a Tomcat with its gear down. But looks like it's not tracking as Rattler goes for a split S and tries to extend. Take a look at Shadow. He's coming in for a landing. Well deserved. Back to the blue base. At Kasab. Alright, great landing by Shadow. Alright, looks like Rattler has put up his gear. And he has figured out how to go fast. Viper is attempting to chase him down. The only question is who's going to run out of fuel first. Ivan and Chikai are up in the air in their MiG-29s. Again, flying beautiful patrol formation. This time they've got the matching liveries. Very much picture perfect. Get some screenshots here for the collection. Rattler's making a run for it. Nomad has taken off. And heading into the combat zone. Mavericks is way out in front at high altitude already. He's already flew 42 nautical miles. That's about 80 kilometers. But they are way to the back from the front. (178 miles, which is almost 400 kilometers. Saffron's back, getting started up in his F4. Saffron was definitely a bit of a sadomasochist, a sucker for punishment, flying this aircraft. But maximum respect out to him. Squid fully rearmed and reloaded. And yours truly, Plazma, is just chilling. All right, let's accelerate this back to 4 times as we watch Viper come in for a landing at Kasab as well. So as mentioned, guys, this is a PvP PvE mission. And if you are interested in participating in a mission like this, leave a comment under this video, join the Red Star and the Raiders Discords. You have to have DCS. You have to have SRS installed so that you can use radio communications, because coordination in these flights is very important. Now, what Squid's doing is he's trying to do a visual inspection, a BDA, a battle damage assessment on Rattler, because in these flights there is no external views. So let's take a look at Squid, and there goes Rattler. Squid's job is to get close and inspect Rattler for any sort of damage. So there you go. Squid did a visual inspection on Rattler and told him how his plane's looking. All right, another visual inspection from Squid. Slows down to match speed and get a good eye on Rattler's airplane. All right, so Mavericks is pushing in, and Nomad is orbiting back between Giraffe and Kerman. Ivan and Chikai didn't have too much to do this flight. They're just kind of chilling out there, just doing excellent airmanship, practicing their formation flying. Meanwhile, back at Kasab, all 3 remaining members of the Blue Force are still there. They're still alive, and they're figuring out their life choices. The 18 is fully rearmed with air-to-air loadouts. Viper has rearmed for air-to-air as well. And Shadow is going back to harms and bombs. Really hope you take out those radars. In retrospect on this mission, the Red Force should have only had 1 life, but it was extended to 2 lives, assuming that the Blue Force with their AIM 120s would sweep the red team out of the air. But the SAM defenses and the Red Force was effective. Also having naval units such as the Neustra Shimei class also makes a big difference with its SAM capability, as well as having something like the SA-5, which is a very long range system. These missiles have a speed of about Mach 5 and a range of up to 150 miles. As long as you can keep rearming them, you are in a pretty good place. Also well distributed. You take a look at this track radar. There was a couple of bombs hit, but as you can see, the bombs were slightly off, not fully destroying this radar. Let's take a look. Let's measure this out. How close were those bombs? .29 nautical miles. 0.029, so very close. But the radar didn't get fully knocked out. All right, there's Rattler coming in for a second landing of the day. Bringing back additional missiles back to one of these frontline air bases. Squid, up at altitude, doing his patrols. He's got rid of his tank and just starting my plane up here, Plazma. Getting ready for taxiing out and supporting an ingress. Chakai and Ivan, now you might say, hey, these guys aren't doing much. You have to keep in mind, everybody has a job to do. Sometimes all you're doing is patrolling, right? There's no such thing as wasting time. The aircraft are flying around and patrolling. Everybody has a job. All right, Mavericks is repositioning to bring himself to Bandar Abbas. Nomad still drawing circles up in space at 43,000. He's sort of the rear guard. And the blue team is contemplating their life choices. So let's keep an eye on the blue base and watch them taxi out. As they prepare for another ingress. Raiders Viper gets airborne, heads out to hunt down some enemies. Squid's running low on fuel. Saffron repositioning himself. He's got his fuel tank, so he's got a little bit of fuel to spare. Chakai and Ivan are flanking around. And let's bring this up to 3-time acceleration. Now the MiG-29s have decided to come in for a landing and to rearm and refuel. Everything is organized so that some aircraft can come in, rearm, refuel, whereas the other ones are doing work and then change it up if or as required. That's the whole point of an operation like this, is so that everybody has a chance to do. Viper has found a target. He's heading out across the map towards the MiG-29s. He's about 100 kilometers away. Saffron is coming in to T-bone him from the north. And Nomad is still up there to the north. The rest of the aircraft from the Blue Force. The 2 remaining aircraft are still on the ground at the base, deciding what to do. And Viper has picked up Saffron. Head to head. Saffron is fast, as is Viper. Viper fires an AIM-120. This is a fairly close shot, 25 miles. The missile is looking for Saffron. And Saffron is going defensive into a notch as the missile's coming down out of the sky looking for him. Missile still has quite a bit of speed, but Saffron successfully defends it. This missile becomes no factor as it's lost track. Viper also performed a defensive maneuver, had gone lower in case he was fired on, but really Saffron had nothing to reach out for him. Saffron carries just these Sparrow missiles, which really have an effective range of about 10 miles, really. Ivan and Chakai at the airbase, rearming, refueling, getting their fuel tanks, getting ready for takeoff. Viper is very confused. He's wondering where his enemies went. Nomad is heading south, and both Squid and yours truly Plazma are in the air, setting up a kill box for Raiders Viper. Shadow, with his anti-SAM payload, is taking off. And there's Pirate on the ground still. So I'm going to guess here what happened is Viper's job was to drag as many folks away from the attack area, which is up here. And then Shadow was probably going to sneak in to take out the targets. There's Ivan revving up his engines, getting ready for his takeoff. Got his fuel tanks attached. Viper, up high, not much fuel. As fast as a bullet. Now Shadow elects to come in low and stealthy, right above the water. And as you can see, there's not much to see here, as both Squid and Plazma are heading in a different direction. Mavericks has repositioned to the forward airbase at Bandar Abbas. He's got his Phoenixes. Rattler, same thing. 2 Phoenixes on him. Nomad, way out to the side. 100 miles away, 150 kilometers out. With the Sparrows. Fuel tanks attached at high altitude. So very much a high-low scenario. Saffron has lost his target. Shadow sneaking right up along the water. And Viper up high coming in to support him. If we switch this down to kilometers, Viper's at 13,000. Shadow is very low. And Squid is looking for him. But does he see him? He knows there's something out there. But remember, there is no map view. All you can see is your own aircraft only. You cannot see enemy aircraft. All right, another great takeoff. Excellent airmanship skills here as Chikai and Ivan both take off for another set. Shadow sneaky and low. Right above the water. Great strategic move. And it looks like Squid is definitely seeing something. He knows there's a target out here somewhere, but he's not sure where the target is. And Squid picks up his target, fires a missile straight down towards the sneaky F-16. And there's a splash. Squid gets the kill. AIM 120 is tracking Squid and takes Squid out as Squid goes down. Also, the first MiG-29, Squid got really close and Viper wasn't there in time to make a difference as Squid falls out of the sky over on his left wing there. SA-5 gets launched, a very angry, very long-range missile, trying to reach out at almost 120 kilometers for Viper. Viper goes for a defensive, and all that's left is Pirate. Pirate has converted into a pure air-to-air mission as Viper heads back to base. Mavericks has gone airborne. Rattler still chilling out on the ground. And Nomad now coming in as well. Blue team definitely needed more pilots. Alright, Saffron's loaded out with an air-to-air configuration. And realistically, this mission should have definitely had more of the blue team. And if you guys do want to participate in a future mission like this, just leave a comment under this video. Let us know if you want to participate and, of course, jump into the Red Star and the Raiders Discords. All right, the Blue Force is regrouping for one last strike. Squid has found himself a road-based MiG-29 to use. And just to let you guys see, like, just to appreciate the level of detail that's on these maps and on these missions. Lots of work put into that. Big regroup happening with the extra lives. Way too many red forces in the air. Two MiG-29s with Ivan and Chikai. Still flying in formation. Rattler in his Tomcat. Same thing with Mavericks, Squid, Plazma, Nomad. It's a bad day to be on the Blue Force. Pirate going one against everybody. Fires an AIM 120. An AIM 54 has been launched on him and has already gone to space. There's two AIM 120s off a Pirate. Saffron trying to be a ninja, trying to sneak in from the side. This is a perfect time for a Phantom to get in here. 4 missiles off of Pirate. R27 from Ivan. AIM 54 coming out of the sky. Saffron is looking for a target, but he is blind. Pirate spamming lots of missiles. 2 more AIM 120s. R27. Does it have lock? No, the R27 has gone stupid. Or has it? Alright, did a massive push. R27 misses Pirate. His AIM 120s are out, but everyone has gone defensive. These missiles have no chance to find anybody. But will Pirate find Saffron here? 2 AIM 120s launched by Viper on to Saffron. Saffron's extending, going cold. Saffron needs to ditch those tanks. Shakai and Ivan doing a fantastic job working as a team. Performing nearly perfect defenses. They get points for their airmanship. They didn't get any splashes, but they did some fantastic flying as they defend all of these missiles that have no chance of hitting them. Pirate exhausted all of his AIM 120s. Viper still has a couple of harms. He tries to climb for altitude and make something happen here. By this point, the entire Red Force has been ordered to come in and to finish them off. B-1Bs are in the air. The team could have launched them at any point, but they chose to launch them at the very, very end of the map. This was a timed mission. Let's take a look at Viper. Fires an AIM 120. I believe that was intended for Saffron. It's a close range shot. Let's keep an eye on this missile. I see the little smoky dot. That is the F4. Does Saffron picks up that the missile's coming for him. He's going into a defensive and takes a AIM 120. He did a great job distracting the enemy forces there, but didn't work out for him. Squid, high and fast. Chikai coming down the middle at medium altitude. So is Ivan. Pirate coming in for another landing. He needs some missiles to fight this battle. It looks like there is a Patriot battery that fired some missiles here. Let's take a look at the Patriots here. Actually, it's a Hawk battery and a NASAMS battery. Here's the NASAMS. The NASAMS will fire either AIM 120 Bravos or Charlies. These look like AIM 120 Charlies. And Pirate makes it back to the airbase to pick up more missiles. He's got the entire Red Force chasing him down. And here are the Hawk launchers that are defending. No, they're defending Kasab. Viper is way out here, all by himself. He's not going to have a chance to use his harm missiles because there is a wall of red force moving in towards him. Chikai in the MiG-29, Squid, Ivan, Rattler, Mavericks, and then I'm forming up with Nomad out here. Hawk launches. Squid and Ivan go defensive. Awacs is chilling out in the back. The idea here is not to get smoked by their SAM defenses over in Kasab. Chikai fires an R-27. Striking on Viper. Viper's extending. He doesn't need to land. Ivan has now switched into low altitude mode, flying right above the waves. Viper's extending. He's looking for a different airbase to land at and fight. And there's a Hawk launch. Missile self-destructs as Ivan heads in for the airbase. Ivan's coming in low, but he sees that there's missiles flying out of Kasab and makes a smart move of defending in a different direction. An AIM-120 is on him. And Ivan gets splashed by the NASAM's AIM-120. He got a little bit too close, and this battery right here of NASAM's managed to shoot on him. Let's take a look at this missile launcher here. There you go, there's another launch of NASAM's. This missile is intended for Rattler. The plan is working out. The aircraft got dragged real close. And now the red team is facing the SAM missiles based over at Kasab. While all that's happening, Plazma's just chilling with Nomad because that's what Plazma does. Because, you know, while the rest of your team is trying to attack a SAM site, you might as well just fly around and orbit around with your buddy. It's the right thing to do. Nomad's not complaining, and I'm just chilling. Alright, let's get back to the actual fight itself. Chikai is still alive. Rattler's coming in. Squid is above the base. Viper sneaking in. Another AIM-120. This one's launched on Rattler. Does he know that AIM-120's on him? He's going defensive. The missile is doing its very best to stay on him. And it gets terrained. Squid's being a ninja. Flying circles. As Viper's on station up here. Pirate is taxiing out. He's got more missiles. He's ready to bring the pain. Plazma and Nomad are just chilling. Chikai is also chilling. Chikai is out of fuel, and he is coming in for RTB over on Kesham Island. Viper's going in for a straight-in landing into Kasab. There's his wingman. All right, good landing. Squid and Rattler are goofing around, asserting their supremacy over the Kasab airbase. This is like some sort of teabagging they could probably do. I think that's the term we're looking for. The bagging of the tea. Because, you know, tea bags are important for drinking. B1Bs. Now, they're heading in. There's Kasab Air Base right below them. Squid and Rattler are somewhere over to their right side, but the Kasab Air Base has SAMs. Pirate turning around, getting ready for that takeoff. He's going to escort those B1Bs. And he goes for a scramble. They're making things happen. One of the B1Bs goes down. It was jamming. The missile was fired home on jam. We missed that splash. But that missile's going down. Squid evades a shot. And Pirate is airborne. Rattler, though. Rattler wants the blood. But the big question is, what's going to happen to him as he flies right over the Kasab Air Base, fires a Phoenix into the tailpipe, but now he's exposed to SAMs. It's a hell of a set of shots. First Phoenix out, second Phoenix out, third missile out from him as he gets hit. This is too good. We've got to look at Pirate here. I'm going to pause this, unpause this, and let's watch this. Pirate gets hit and goes down. Squid fires an R-77 on Pirate. He's going vertical. He got too close to the airbase and gets taken out by an AIM-120. Squid has fired an R-77 at B1 bomber, but it has no chance of catching up to him. Plazma and Nomad are eating glue while we're intercepting that B1B bomber, but there's an SA-5 with the bomber's name on it. The missile has traveled quite a bit of distance, almost 120 kilometers. It's doing over 4,000 kilometers an hour as it's coming down on this B1B. And the second B1B bomber is down. Not much else to do here but to watch this poor B1B go down. As Plazma and Nomad really have nothing to shoot at anymore. All right, let's accelerate this time and get that landing out of the way. So success by Saffron, just to mess around, is taking off with a air-to-ground strike package. Let's see where he can get to. Chakai has survived. He's rearming and refueling, starting his plane up. Plasma Nomad still alive, still wanting to get our landing out of the way. heading for the Keshim Island. Blue Force has been taken out. Let's speed this up and get this mission kind of over with. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and share it. As always, just leave a comment if you guys want to participate in missions like this in the future. Alright, so let's lock in this landing and watch and make it happen here as Plazma and Nomad come back in for a landing. And after the landing, guys, gonna call end to this replay. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I want to thank Kaz for setting up the mission, organizing and GCIing it. He didn't get to fly at all. I want to thank the Raiders team for flying with us and against us, and of course everybody from Red Star for participating in this mission as well. It was a great time. Not saying it's impossible, but it is sometimes, it can be difficult to synchronize two dissimilar airframes for a landing. The MiG-29 wants to stay fast. The Tomcat has the benefit of being slow, so it can be a little bit tough. But with enough practice, it can be done. As you can see, Nomad is just cruising in. Whereas I have to finesse the aircraft here and come in a little hard. Oh, broke one of my gears. And skid out of the way. Now with the Tomcat, same thing. It's a little tricky to land, especially after the recent updates. It also does tend to skid a little bit. And Nomad's trying to keep it on the runway. And I'm alright, folks.